Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, good day, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to Beyond the Gate Radio. My name is Sherelle Baker, and I am the co-host. And we have David Baker, our host. David?
Good morning, good evening to everybody, everywhere, wherever you may be listening to around the world. Welcome to Beyond the Gate Radio. Today is going to be a fantastic show. We have a special guest for you today, Derek Acorah, and everybody should know who he is, and if not, now's your chance to find out. I'd like to say that Derek Acorah is, without question, the #1 television psychic in the UK, bridging the gap between the niche cult shows to mainstream talk shows, which rely on personality and the ability to capture the imagination. As a result of Derek's sincerity and enthusiastic delivery, Derek has achieved international acclaim with television, radio, and personal appearances across the United Kingdom, Europe, the Middle East, New Zealand, and the USA. Derek has also conducted telephone consultation for people as far south as India, Australia, and New Zealand, and I'm sure much more extensively than that by now. Over the years, Derek's television appearances have made him one of Britain's most popular and best-known mediums, resulting in consistent sellout shows throughout his UK tours. And Derek is, if you look at his website, DerekAcorah.com, is on tour right now. He's always stays busy. So a lot of us have many opportunities at one of his events. Additionally, Derek has several books published and a number of DVDs as well. I have them listed on my website show page, as well as them being on his as well. Anybody could go to Amazon.com and find his products. Once again, his website is www.DerekAcorah.com, and some of his books are Derek Acorah, Extreme Psychic, The Psychic World of Derek Acorah, The Psychic Adventures of Derek Acorah, Derek Acorah's Ghost Towns, Ghost Hunting with Derek Acorah, and he has one of the most haunted. I mean, I could go on and on, but what I'd like to do before we bring Derek on the show is just play a little sound bite of Derek during the talk. It's very interesting. Derek does have a charming personality and a great sense of humor as well as spirit.
This is a question as well. You know, there's different parts of the world, and if we're fortunate, we get to travel and what have you, and everything like that. But he seems to be earmarking something of conversation in his head, just to listen. I've been talking vigorously about taking that trip, that valuable trip to the United States of America.
Yeah, well, I should be going there over Christmas.
Yes. And are you aware that that trip may not happen? Not to disappoint you. Not to disappoint you, but it seems there's something in the works spiritually that's going to prevent you from going on the date or that you're expected to. It will be a couple of days later because of the circumstances of what is happening around the time. So don't be downhearted. You are going, you are destined, you are in the mark to go, but not precisely on the date that you expected.
Well, that was very interesting. You just heard Derek doing one of his events. And so without further ado, welcome to the show, Derek Acorah.
David, it's lovely to speak to you.
Thank you very much. And you were just mentioning about the weather over there. How is the weather again today, please?
It's very clement. It's very lovely. It's been about, for us in England anyway, at this time of the year, around 18 degrees, which is really, really nice.
Well, that's good. I'm assuming you're talking 18 degrees Celsius and not Fahrenheit.
That's right, yes. So, it's been in the 60s, so it's been wonderful. It's been T-shirt weather, as we call it here, Dave.
That's wonderful. We've had, I suppose, during the season change. The weather is not sure between the seasons what it wants to do. So one week it's cold and rainy and chilly, and the next week it's sunny and you're wearing a T-shirt as well. Today it's a bit overcast.
Right, well, we've had a spell over the last, I'd say, about 7 or 8 days of, very clement weather and very unusual for April in England. So everyone's enjoying it and everyone's out there in the T-shirt and the shorts. And a lot of people are thinking that it's like being in Spain.
That is amazing. That is really amazing. And, we're talking about the weather. It brings to mind from Julie Andrews, Rain in Spain, stays many on the planet.
On the plane, yes.
Yes,
yes.
My Fair Lady. My mother used to listen to that when I was a youngster.
Uh-huh.
So, Derek, I find this to be interesting. I myself, am a psychic medium, but during my life, I was in the military and in law enforcement. So that's like a warrior-type personality. And then I'm in touch with my spiritual side, which is kind of like the opposite, like a yin and a yang.
Uh-huh.
And I noticed that you have the same warrior personality as a professional footballer, but you also are interested in poetry.
Absolutely, yes. For many, many years, I wasn't brought up in the country in England. I was brought up in an area, with what we would call in England the concrete jungle, where there was no grass or no nature stuff or anything like that, no greenery. And as a little boy, I used to say to my mother, one day I will live in the country and I'll be with the animals and I will have animals all around me. And after all these years, now I suddenly find myself with 15 chickens, 7 of them laying hens, all very lovely little girlies, and I just recently brought in 3 ducks, little baby ducks, and they've integrated absolutely fantastically. The only problem is that I've got 2 very, very boisterous dogs, one called Jack and one called Penny. Jack is a standard poodle, he's a big guy, and Penny is a German Shepherd. And since I brought these lovely animals to our home to join the family, Jack and Penny look at me rather strange and say, but why don't we love you? Don't you love us enough to bring these other animals in? So they try to give the chicks and the ducks a little bit of a hard time. But everything will settle, everything will be okay.
That is amazing.
What's going to come next? You won't believe it, even my neighbours. And because I live next to a farm, an old farmland, Bernard, the farmer friend on the right, he's convinced me to bring in 2 baby llamas. Because llamas are just
goat.
No.
I was going to say goat.
Sherelle, it's lovely to speak to you. But I found, I'm reading up now, I'm understanding Bernard, the farmer, and he knows more about, cultural stuff and, animals. And he said, llamas, Derek, whether you know it or not, believe me, he said, are more protective of chickens than what goats would be. So when out in the country, I didn't know that. I was totally ignorant of it.
Well, I had to ask you this question real quickly about the llamas. My wife and I have a joke about it because of the TV commercial. Are they alpacas or not?
No. You see, the alpacas are very pretty to look at. Llamas, I suppose, are not as pretty. But, when you look at the price that these breeders of the alpacas, as opposed to the llamas, you're talking about paying, in monies, you're talking about paying 4 times the amount for a young alpaca as to be a llama.
I understand, and there definitely is a difference. However, I really didn't know until you just now explained it, and I find that to be very, very interesting. And I suppose if somebody breached your property without permission during some time, and the llamas caught on the alert, that perhaps they could be took to the...
Yes, absolutely. They chase the foxes. And you see, we've got high evidence of foxes, because we're all open land here, and foxes are prevalent, that they're here. And so basically, the llama doesn't have to inform you. It could be at dusk, it could be, late at night when foxes are out and about. The llama will know and will actually ward off the chickens if they're not in the coop. They will tell them in their way of language, get in. We'll deal with it. And then they will actually, if a fox gets into a run, the llamas will have a go and fight that fox.
Wow, that's
the alpaca
amazing.
won't. The alpaca will run.
Will run, okay.
It's funny, isn't it?
The alpaca. Yeah, the alpaca will knock on your door and say, hey, there's some foxes.
That's right, Sherelle,
That's funny, the difference between that. At one time, some years back, I had a different property than I had now, and they had a Rottweiler pet, and it would bark at anybody that would come up to the gate that wanted to come to the property, and I had somebody that was coming in for an appointment, and I didn't bring the dog in.
Oh.
And this person got in and knocked on the door, and I said, how'd you get past the Rottweiler? And he said, oh, it was no problem. The dog came up to me, was barking, and so that person said, okay, boy, where's the ball? Go get the ball. Let's play ball. Come on. Did the dog's perspective change? Like, oh, where's the ball? What ball? That's it. I said, you know what?
Great.
Maybe I got the wrong kind of dog.
That's what goes into the animal, the psychology of things,
That's amazing. They are intelligent. Animals are intelligent.
Of course they are, and I've been saying this and fighting this cause for 35 years now. Animals are more intelligent than the so-called experts say that they are.
That's
yes. Did you see, guys? Did you see in your regional papers or your national papers a couple of weeks ago, as I did in England, where the cruelty to an elephant? Did you ever, was that put into the American papers?
Yes.
And did you read where the statement from this particular elephant where a very, very loving animal lover walked over to the elephant away from people who had it entrapped, and it was actually crying?
I don't remember precisely that story because I have so much going on, but I do remember the story. I didn't read too much of it and retain it. But
this elephant, that's how this coming away from instinct, because instinct with animals and what have you, you will not get the emotional situation or episodes. And this elephant was actually teardrops and crying, crying out saying, I've had enough. And, there are so many animals, whether they be wild or whether they be domesticated, that have got these emotions, especially our domesticated cats, dogs, rabbits, and what have you. Because, you see, David, Cheryl, they take on our emotions when they live with us. They learn new things. So our animals that are not wild are actually progressing at a rate and a ratio, not compared to a human being, but close to it. So something special happens there. And then, so what happens from then? If a dog lives with you successfully, male or female, or a cat, like we've got a cat called Mindy. She's 23 years old. That would make her, I believe, because it's more like about 141 in human terms years. She's one of the oldest cats in the country, maybe the world, I don't know.
That's impressive. Wow, that's...
And all animals that come and have come to us, we're so pleased about, is that they thrive, they live long lives, and they're never, ever, they're allowed to pass over to the animal kingdom without being interfered with, without, like chickens, they got of age, don't lay eggs anymore, so let's wring the neck and put them on the table. That doesn't happen in the Acorah household.
That's wonderful. And we have the same...
They live their lives.
That's great, because, a lot of people don't understand and don't ever call an animal a dumb animal because they can't build a brick-and-mortar structure because they can't write a sympathy or a song.
Absolutely, Dave.
Their intelligence is just as high as ours. It's just that theirs is in a different direction than ours. And I believe that the domesticated animals that choose to live with us are evolving on a spiritual scale.
Yes.
That's why they've chosen to be with us. And they're so loving and trusting and loyal to us. And even, Derek, I know you mentally communicate with your animals. You don't even have to talk, because if one of your pets or dogs comes up to you and makes a sound or looks at you a certain way, you know exactly what's on their mind, don't you?
Absolutely. I know instantly. You know, it just happens. It's just the way it is. And, you know, a new phase of my life has opened up, even at this particular age of my life now, where I dreamt about having and looking after and keeping and caring for animals such as chickens, ducks, although many years ago, llamas didn't even come into it. In thought, I didn't even know what a llama was. However, you know, other things like little piglets, you know, Gwen said to me, oh gosh, I can see this is your whole new opening of your life, but we haven't got a big enough property to house, you know, these lovely animals. Well, you know what? I'm going to work on that. Dave, Sherelle, I'm working on it.
All right.
That's good. That's progress. So,
well, I'm thinking about my good friend, next door neighbour, Bernard, who's got all this land. And I'm very shortly going to sit and debate with him and ask him, can he sell me a little bit of land where I can open up my gardens, and then I will have a little zoo. But not a zoo as a zoo, like they do in England and across the world. This will be an animal sanctuary.
That's wonderful. That's a wonderful dream. And
it's my next
mission.
Yes. Absolutely.
That's what I want to ask you about. I bet did this come to mind when you were, let's say, in your 20s, playing football and doing all kinds of activities? Did you ever think that you would eventually one day, was this a dream of yours in your early years?
As a footballer, it was. As a little boy, but that's all I wanted to be, Dave. I didn't want to, like I said to my grandma, I made that statement. I didn't want to be like you. I love you. I said, my grandma, and I love my mum, but, you know, now I know what you do as a medium. Now, all I want to be is a footballer. So I pushed it away. However, you know, what was going through my mind at the time was that, you know, I'm going to be one of the world's greatest footballers. I'm going to be like Pele. I'm going to be like so-and-so. I never was, but I did realize a dream. I did earn a salary from professional football for a number of years. I wasn't a top grade. I wasn't a Beckham. I wasn't a Ronaldo. I wasn't anything like that. In my football days, I was recognized by managers as a good, reliable pro, a journeyman who would, if the manager said, go and kick that player into the stands because he's dangerous, although I didn't want to do it, I'd have to follow rules. If they said, just go and play your flow of football and do your best, that's what I'd do. So basically, for a number of years, I played my football. But you see, my gran said, when I was a young boy, you are going to be a lad, you will play professional football one day, son. But she said, there will come a time when abruptly, you'll come away from that game. Well, it did. It happened in Australia. I had a knee injury. It responded initially to an operation, and I come back the next season, only 2 games in to the season, bang, it went again. Another operation. But this time, I was informed by the surgeon that my footballing days were over.
Wow, but I bet that made your wife happy to leave Australia.
Absolutely. Couldn't wait to get away, but I was absolutely heartbroken. I was bereft.
I know.
And because I've been involved in training, you know, every day in my life, I kept myself super fit, and knowing that I was going to come away from that lifestyle, what am I going to do? It was quite frightening, actually. But I wasn't back home in the UK very long when my gran and Sam and people coming from the spirit world into my sleep and telling me now's the time. This was my vocation.
Well, now, over the years, Derek's television appearances have made him one of Britain's most popular and best-known mediums, resulting in consistent sellout shows throughout his UK tours. And Derek is, if you look at his website, DerekAcorah.com, is on tour right now. He's always stays busy. So a lot of us have many opportunities to one of his events. Additionally, Derek has several books published and a number of imagination. As a result of Derek's sincerity and enthusiastic delivery, Derek has achieved international acclaim with television, radio, and personal appearances across the United Kingdom, Europe, the Middle East, New Zealand, and the USA. Derek has also conducted telephone consultations for people as far south as India, Australia, and New Zealand, and I'm sure much more extensively than that by DVDs as well. I have them listed on my website show page as well as them being on his as well. Anybody could go to Amazon.com and find his products. Once again, his website is www.DerekAcorah.com, and some of his books are Derek Acorah, Extreme Psychic, The Psychic World of Derek Acorah, The Psychic Adventures of Derek Acorah, Derek Acorah's Ghost Towns. Today is going to be a fantastic show. We have a special guest for you today, Derek Acorah, and everybody should know who he is, and if not, now's your chance to find out. I'd like to say that Derek Acorah is, without question, the #1 television psychic in the UK, bridging the gap between the niche cult shows to mainstream talk shows, which rely on personality and the ability to capture the
Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, good day, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to Beyond the Gate Radio. My name is Sherelle Baker, and I am the co-host. And we have David Baker, our host. David?
Good morning, good evening to everybody, everywhere, wherever you may be listening to around the world. Welcome to Beyond the Gate Radio.